Okay, we are back with the team that just finished doing Blood Pageant. And I gotta say here, I don't know how you got all these names, but there's this delicate dance when you're raising money for the investors to when you actually get people like Snoop Dogg or Stephen Baldwin or David attached. So I don't know if this is a Chris or a Robert question, but I'd love to find out.
So both, what do you want, Chris?
I'll start because I cast it, and then you can.
Yes.
Okay. So I've been casting for decades, and I have so many producers that I cast for that became very, very successful. In fact, Chuck sold his company for $1 billion to someone. So, I know my casting. And the first thing I did was reach out and do what I knew wouldn't work. I called William Morris for Snoop Dogg. Well, big agents, because the big agents just like, even if you're lucky, they'll say, send me a script and an offer. But a lot of times it's not like the good old days when I started casting. It's a lot harder. Anyway, what I did is I went around and I called Snoop's managers, and Snoop's managers were much nicer guys. More open. They were great. And I learned a lot of things like, hey, we're going to hit you up. They're going to hit you up when you call somebody. So I started. Anyway, we had fun together. And it took a while, but, the negotiations were very long and drawn out. And, for a while I was afraid because they, as nice as they were, they demanded a lot of money for Snoop. So Robert, I want you to tell Scott what we did to accommodate getting a star that large for that money.
So then this is, we'll try not to get into legalese here too much, but basically, we were in negotiations already. We started filming. Okay, so we're shooting.
Okay. So you already started filming, and you're trying to fill this slot with Snoop.
Yes, exactly. So we had already started. We thought we were going to get him, but then there was somebody who's going to go unnamed who just kept trying to raise the price on it. Basically the cost for the talent. And Chris had an understanding, and then we started moving forward. Basically, the long and short of it was we had a really talented crew. And one person, I'm just going to call him out in particular. His name is Kevin Rayford. And he was on the so he was a grip, an electric, and they do everything. I mean, this team, Keith Smith was the DP, and he brought a team just like a well-oiled machine. They wheeled 2 cameras like it's nobody's business, and normally that's really it's tough to do. It was unbelievable to watch. So we went through so many pages of footage. Well, one day, Kevin comes up and he goes, "Hey, I hear you guys are going to get Snoop Dogg." And like, well, yeah, that's kind of that's kind of the dream. We're trying to do that. We're negotiating right now, and blah 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 blah. And I mentioned the guy's name, and we'll say, I said, yeah, but his manager, or I said his manager is being kind of a standoffish, and he wants more money. And he goes, oh yeah, it's a dick. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, he's just a pain. And I go, oh, beep. And he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, I work with Snoop a lot, and he said that he did like, how many, like 30 videos or something like that, rock videos, Chris? And then your camera just went off on Chrissy.
We can still hear you.
Okay, great. And so basically, the long and short of it was that, if I had $1 for everybody said, oh yeah, I know Snoop, and I we would fund the film immediately, and maybe the 5 others. But he asked, what was in it, for him. I said, well, look, we'll give you 10%. Here's what we have. It's like 75, whatever, $1,000 or whatever.
So a 10% finder's fee.
10% finder's fee on top of it, exactly, right off the top. And literally, on the phone with him right there.
That's a great incentive.
Oh yeah. And I've got to say, a lot of people on set tried. They even didn't know that they failed.
Oh God, so many people.
Kevin was our hero. And that's, once again, I do believe in a higher power. And he brought us to Kevin, and Kevin to us, and Kevin made one call and got the move, pushed the deal through.
Wow.
It was literally like, and it wasn't like, one of those things where it's just like, oh, hey, can I get through? No, it was literally like, call, and then phone rings. Then it's like, what's up? What's up? All that stuff. Like
it's who you know.
And you're like,
yeah.
Who you know. Amazing. So yeah, and so that's exactly what we did.
Awesome.
And then went forward.
So I want to ask you a few more questions, because the audience will want to know this. Your minimum investment with your pitch deck or your business plan was what, 10K?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
so
my girlfriend at Disneyland. She
okay.
Yes.
That's an awesome entry level point, because a lot more people you can even imagine could come in on that.
Yeah.
And they might get a little name at the bottom of the credits or something,
Yeah.
or just a
Oh,
special.
no. They don't get a little name at the bottom of the credits. I mean, as far as Chris and I were always concerned, I mean, and you know, we say this, due recognition where recognition is due.
Yeah.
And if you
I
bring money
didn't mean to
the project,
belittle them. What I meant, they're not
oh
going to
yeah,
get exec producer soul card.
oh, not a soul
right.
card, but you are going to get your executive producer card, and absolutely, yeah, and yeah, every dollar, wow, at the end. You
So
know that.
Robert, this is another question for you. You said at the very, very beginning, you know, this multi-millionaire, you knew him very well, and you were going to approach him. He was going to fund the whole thing. At least you were pretty confident, and then he passed away. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yes, so were we.
Did
Yeah,
you?
we were really sad.
I mean, what a shock. I mean, I've
was
had that
nuts.
happen once or twice. I've learned
I
my
believe it.
lesson, literally within weeks.
Oh
Let
my
me
God.
ask you, brutally honest, did you hesitate? Like, hey, I got to really tweak the pitch deck, or the timing's not right. Could you have approached him a few weeks before, or this just was not in God's plans?
You know what's interesting? That's a really good question.
It was
I would say,
Bob.
yeah, it was not in God's plans because you know, at this point, the deck was done, and you're never really done with it. Just like you're never really done with a film, you always want to do a little bit more, and you can say, oh, we can add this or that. But Chris and I were both satisfied with it, and you know, it was almost like, I think Chris, we were like, okay, well. We have these little mugs that say, "Oh, for Fox's sake, what next?" And so it's a little fox thing. And so Tony's got his now in the mail. Tony Sands, by the way, couldn't be here. We just wanted to mention Tony. We love you, and Tony's the vice president for Red Velvet Entertainment as well. And
He's amazing.
Yeah, and so, oh my God.
I mean, did you think about approaching him or just hesitate, or
No, it was all under, if somebody introduces you to somebody, if somebody's friend is coming in, and that was Bob's friend, you have to respect the timeline for that person. And Bob kept saying, you're not ready. It's not ready. He's a stickler for perfection. And you have to understand, I've worked for decades in the industry on many levels. Never did I want to be a producer. I've always, you know.
But you're a good one. Let me tell you something.
I've cast and I've written and I've done all these creative things, but I didn't, you know, so I wanted Bob to just take the lead on that. But he kept saying to Robert and I, you know, it's not ready yet. It's not ready. And then finally, when he said it was ready, we had a meeting, and unfortunately the timing was there. So no, we had no control over going earlier. Because Bob would not bring to his friends something he was embarrassed about or wasn't fantastic, you know. Yeah.
So. Okay. And then
very good.
Chris, you said something I really want to just remind our audience about, which is so important. You started approaching these first or these second and these third investors not knowing they had that much money. So you did not prejudge them. You just shared your package and you start getting checks.
Right. Well, actually, it was more than that. I didn't even anticipate that my friends at dinner were going to offer, and other friends were going to offer. So I would say this, to advice to someone is, I didn't even approach them. They asked me after I said, boy, we're having problems. It's like, hey, I'll put money in. So the thing is this, if you develop your product, but maybe I should say to people strategically, make a list of everybody that's a friend of yours and a business associate of yours, because there's more money to be put in a project than you may be aware of around you.
Yeah, many people will help.
I had no idea my friends would do that. And I was still trying to think of how we were going to go to like big investors, or go to studios, or go to distribution companies. But this happened to us. And now I know that's possible for anybody.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it better. And when you're talking to people in your influence, people that are friends, family, even people that you just know, even if you don't know them that well.
Mhm.
No one likes to be sold, but
Right.
people like to be invited. And obviously you both did that in such a great way to raise over $1 million for
Yeah.
this movie.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that people, like, if you just say, what's on your mind, you're not asking. And depending on where they are at that point in their life or what they want to do, people like to solve problems. They like to help. And so if you have a problem, that they can help with, and I don't call it really a problem, but it was a problem
A
for
need
us.
or
Yeah,
piece of the
and there you
puzzle
go.
that's missing.
It was a
Yeah.
piece of the puzzle, exactly. And they're like,
Yeah.
I can help you with that piece. And so that was really interesting. It was
Oh,
just amazing.
there's
Yeah.
something else that I should bring up is
Oh,
that
yeah.
along the road, there were other people who actually offered that signed a contract
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and breached the contract. So I
Breach of
won't say their
contract and backed
names,
out. That was
but
terrible.
there was a lady who was
Oh,
just
these
gonna,
were investors?
An
yes,
investor
yes,
backed out for
Mhm.
$500,000 right
Yeah.
in the middle of production, when we were shooting.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. And we were able to finish the first 14 days of principal photography.
And yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And
Crazy.
Wow.
what they said was, and didn't want to start till all the money was in the bank, but she said, no, 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 my money's coming. And, go
Yeah.
ahead with your production schedule, but it's going to be a little delayed. And so then the day it was due, we were nervous. We were on set. And she said, we called her every day and she said, oh no, it's going to be a day late. And then the
Yeah.
next day it was a day late. The next day it was a day late. And then finally she said, it's not coming through. And we said, what? And then she said, we said, why? What? And she said, I don't feel comfortable telling you. Well, I guess
Yeah.
she didn't, because we
Yeah.
had to close down production, regroup, and
But
we regrouped. Yeah.
we finished. So also, not just that. So Scott, literally, we had to make up that money.
Yeah.
While we were shooting.
Yeah.
18-hour days, we're pitching to people and whatnot, and finishing this and getting those first 14 days that we had scheduled, the principal photography and Snoop Dogg and all the star talent shot out. And guess what? Like, we did it, dude. Banging 7 grand rocks and finishing them, because that's how I roll. Wow.
Did you bring some potential investors to visit the set?
Yes.
We
Never
didn't.
again, but yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we never did, but we had the one person who started this whole thing brought people to the set. And here's so I can't get into
There's
too
some
much
legal.
detail, but I can tell you that there are sharks out there that you swim with.
Yeah.
And if somebody's on your set that is an investor,
Yeah.
you can bet your bottom dollar that somebody else is going to try to steal that investor.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you would be, I mean, we have gone through a lot of heck, and we did have potential investors on set that were stolen by somebody else right from under us. And the thing is, I have a new rule, that if God blesses us to go on with our next big project, which is the one I wanted to do in the first place, but
Yes.
my friend who gave the money said, I want you to do a horror film, but I have another one I really want to do. And if we do that, no
I mean,
investors
if we
gonna
are,
come on.
we're already in the process.
I
Stop.
need a vacation first.
Yeah, I
need a
know. We're
vacation.
going to Hawaii.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
but I wanted to say that we're definitely, no investors are going to be allowed on set. That's it. Because
Okay,
even
so-
an
Because you have to have a
extra-
guard.
You
have to have a
you gotta be careful with that. So
Yeah.
a question for you, Chris, since you're not in Hollywood and you're one of the people that I respect that has faith, a lot of people in
Yep.
Hollywood have no faith. How important do you think that was during the whole fundraising process and during the actual production, just to have faith and believe that you guys are going to get this film all the way to the finish line?
Yeah.
everything, because I'll tell you something,
All
in
of
the
it.
physical world, if
Yeah.
you see a dead end, or you see somebody who is so terrible or such a shark or so whatever, and there's a big problem to solve, you can just about, fall over and give up. But if you get into your spiritual self, which is a brave warrior, I mean, I'm really tough if I get into my soul, and that's everything. I think, Robert, wasn't it the same for you? Because getting through this process of producing, and solving all these many problems. And we're not talking the little ones, like we're on the set and then one of
Sure.
the wardrobe women starts crying because she brought the wrong outfit to the girl and we're late to shoot and then we're going to go overtime. Those are little things.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the big problems, like a $500,000 investor breaching contract
Yeah.
in the middle of a production,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
a vicious extra that you do a favor for, steals one of your investors. I mean, and scams them. And
Yeah.
you're going, how does that happen? Is it, for me, it was faith. Because
Yeah.
I know I'm a good person. I know I do the right thing. I'm very creative. I love creating. And I said, God, just lead me. And that I tell you, I couldn't have done it without that faith. Robert, how about you?
Well, I definitely I'm a person of faith, but being in the military, Marine for 4, Army for 6, being in special ops community, it's kind of like getting shot at and doing all this stuff. It's kind of like, well, it's another day at the office, whatever, we'll get it done. There's some light coming in. I don't know why that's coming in.
It's the
shining on
it's
me.
the
Maybe
light
that's
of
God
God.
saying, "Hey."
So to
the angels
Did
are
you see
singing.
those?
Yeah.
to add on to that, Robert,
Yes.
thank you for your service, because I know you served both with
Oh,
the
yeah.
Army and the Marines, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
How important do you think that discipline and that training was to you, kind of being a problem solver and keeping the whole investor train on track?
You know what? That was it. So Chris calls me, what do you call me? The Energizer Bunny or something like that?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah, he calls me the
Energizer
Energizer.
Bunny.
And it's the
Yes.
Energizer Bunny really
Yeah.
portion of it is like, I gotta do this because nobody freaking else is gonna get this done. We're gonna stay
Mhm.
up till friggin' 3 in the morning and 4 in the morning and 5 in the morning. Chris had done her creative part there, and then it's like we gotta tack out this stuff and get it done.
Yeah.
And so it was literally like, you get your marching orders. That's my
Yeah.
CEO, and you march. And it's like, okay, there's a friggin' wall. So we either blast through it, or we go over it, or we go around it, but we get through the wall. And that's basically what we did. And most of the hindrance was, quite frankly, it was going to be just the sheer hours of time
Yeah.
that you had to commit and getting the work.
Oh my God.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's it. But I just had a different approach because I'm not getting shot at least here. So I'm like, we're good, man.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Well, congratulations on
Thank
putting
you.
together an amazing film. It's kind of like a suspense and a horror on the set of a cheesy reality show.
Yes.
All-star
Comedy
cast.
too.
I've
Comedy.
seen it. For everyone else listening, where is the best place right now to see the movie?
Robert?
Real simple. Just go to www.bloodpageant.com, and that's going to show. That's pretty much a media page where it has direct links to all of the networks and VOD streaming that's on right now. So you're going to have like direct links to Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, YouTube, you name it. And then also it tells you some of the networks. True story. I was in Connecticut. And my mom has Xfinity. She canceled everything. My father had passed away, recently, and so I was in a
Sorry.
black hole. But I was able to look on Xfinity, cable, no cell range, no nothing, and I typed in blood VOD. I typed in blood space P, bang, Snoop Dogg's picture came up, and I was like, here we are in the middle of nowhere.
Hey.
And you can watch it. So you can, if you look at, just type in blood pageant on your cable network, Xfinity, Spectrum, whatever it is, you're going to find it. And then, so that's the best way to find it. And then also to follow us. Were you going to lead into that?
Well, actually, this is my show. Don't start robbing this
Oh my
train
God.
yet.
No,
Okay? Don't start robbing this train yet.
I didn't know what time crunch we had. So.
I want to ask you about some of the new projects you're working on. Rumor has it you got Linda Blair and some other cast you're talking to.
Well, Linda Blair is, well, we always kind of talk to her.
She has an amazing rescue with Steve, who played the director in Blood Pageant.
Start
they both
rescue.
have rescues, so she has 100 dogs that she rescues, and Steve rescues dogs, and so we have a love of dogs and cats and all life. Yep. And they're amazing people. But no, not for the next one. The next
when you say
one,
Steven Spielberg, right?
No, Steven.
yeah, right.
Steven Spiro. Steve
Steve
Spiro, who
Okay,
played
because
Sam, the director. They
Spielberg
got.
has a Animal Rescue. I thought you were working with him.
Oh,
Ah,
we
no,
wow, we wish. But Steve Spiro has a thing called startrescue.org, and then
Okay.
Linda Blair has the World Heart Foundation,
yeah.
both incredible
Oh,
organizations, and they help, a
amazing.
number of animals. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
speak.
All right.
They're
So
incredible.
30-second pitch. Tell us about
Yeah.
one or two of the projects you're getting ready to do next.
Okay, well, we're not at liberty to say the details because it's something very delicate. But we have the most edgy, original movie for television that's going to serve as a pilot for a series. And it is a comedy. And it is so good. It's comedy and sci-fi. And it's really, really has a lot of diversity in it. And we are so excited about it. And that's the next project.
Built-in advertising.
So Chris, if someone wanted to hire you as a casting director or just follow you or on social media or contact you, what are your best coordinates?
Well, I actually can be contacted through bloodpageant.com. And I don't put up a casting website, never have. I just get referred from producer to producer. I'm actually in the process. I received the package I never joined the CSA yet, but I am going to join the CSA. And I'm very honored that they sent me all the forms to fill out. It's just I haven't had a moment. I'm so busy. But best way to contact me is through bloodpageant.com because my contact information and Robert's is there.
Yeah.
And
redvelvetentertainment.net. Yeah.
And Robert, any social media or any other way that people can follow you or reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, there's IMDb, which is imdb.me Red Velvet Producer. And then, of course, redvelvetentertainment.net. And then, of course, bloodpageant.com. And then lastly, the Facebook page, I believe, gosh, I have to look. You're going to make me, I don't even know what the hell it is. Let me
If you go to Facebook and just type Blood Pageant search, I'm sure something will come up, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for my Facebook, it's going to be facebook.com Red Velvet Producer. That's me personally. And you'll see a big poster of Snoop Dogg and Blood Pageant. And then facebook.com Blood Pageant the movie. And there you go. And so that's pretty much all the ways to follow us. Yeah.
Awesome. So final question, Robert. What would Charlie Sheen say if he was getting kicked off this episode?
Oh my God!
Because your time's coming up.
Well, listen, pal. Let me tell you what Charlie Sheen would say. Because Chris hired me. All right. Hey, goddess. So I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them. That's how I roll. I got a different brain, man. I got a different heart. So getting kicked off your show doesn't give it. Whatever. Hey, pal. We'll talk later, and I know where you frickin' live. Yeah. So I don't have my glasses, but fine, whatever.
Robert Burton, aka Charlie Sheen, Chris Gilmore, congratulations on amazing film. Everybody should go out and see it tonight or whenever you're watching this episode. Blood Pageant. Thank you so much for your time coming on the show. You're a real inspiration to filmmakers all over the world. God bless.
Thank you so much, Scott. God bless you too.
Scott.
To Scott DuPont, host of Finance Your Movie, premiering each week on Millionaire Flicks. Thanks for listening, and remember, it's time!
FinanceYourMovie.com. Copyright Nemours Marketing.